Hi everyone, I'm playing with my fluorite stone so I don't fidget because the energy is making me really, really fidgety today. So it's really heavy right now, and we're going to talk about why things are super heavy today, and it's going to probably last for just a couple of days. And then this big shift that we're having right now um, is helping us to push forward and to grow for future things. So the moon is in Virgo today. So that's why I'm extra fidgety. I always am. When the moon is in Virgo, like everything has to be really particular. Everything has to be in its place. Like it's driving me crazy that my water bottle is being shown, even though it doesn't really matter. That's just what happens when the moon is in Virgo because my sun is in Virgo and I have several other placements that are in Virgo. So yeah, whenever that, plus it's also in opposition to Neptune right now. So the moon is in opposition to Neptune. Neptune's in Pisces. We also have the sun in Gemini, which is in opposition to Jupiter in Sagittarius. So this opposition, and I'm not, some of you might have already heard about this, some of you may not have heard about it, but there's this mutable cross that's happening today and tomorrow while the moon is in Virgo. And mutable crosses or mutable signs are all about change. It's all about being a chameleon. It's all about being able to switch things really, really fast. And with these oppositions, because of the way Neptune and the South Node are in a trine with each other, I'm sorry, Neptune and the North Node are in a trine with each other. Saturn and the North Node, or Saturn and the South Node, sorry, are in conjunction still. The sun is squaring Jupiter, the sun is squaring Neptune. And that's what this cross is doing. The moon is squaring Jupiter. The moon is in sextile to Mercury. So it's not easy. And if you want really in-depth information about this, because I'm not going to go super in-depth about it, we're just going to talk about how it feels. If you want in-depth astrology about what it all means and why it's like this, I highly recommend the Leo King or Nadia Shah. The Leo King will tell you how it's very real. The Leo King will get really, really deep into it. It's funny, I was actually watching his video about this particular mutable cross that's happening, and even he was irritated, and he doesn't get irritated easily. Like things he's just sort of learned in his life, and I've noticed this about him, he's sort of learned in his life to let things slide. That's how he has been able to like keep such a straight head with all of this, with his whole life changing constantly all the time, and growth and growth and growth. He's always been able to keep a very level head. And I even noticed that he was super irritated about some like comments during the live feed, and that, not shaming him at all, like very rightly so. He was defending himself. I mean, like I highly respect him a lot for what he does. And astrology is a science, and this isn't just pretend. Like these are actual planets moving in actual synchronicities in certain ways in order for all of us to grow. So the beautiful thing about this mutable cross that's happening today and tomorrow is that there's change ahead. I say that that's beautiful because I'm all about change. My life is constantly changing. It's constantly evolving. If you're not evolving in the constant motion of the energy and you're really fighting against it and you want to stay stuck where you are, this is going to be really super uncomfortable. Sorry, my necklace is being funny. It's going to be really super uncomfortable. And so my advice with all this really heavy energy is to understand that even if you're going through some really difficult times right now, this energy is going to make you feel like it's actually harder than it is. Even some really tough stuff, even some really hard things, if you're losing relationships, if you are losing jobs, if you're losing your identity, if there are things that are happening to you, it's not the end of the world. You know, I mean, I've been through all three of those things in my life, and I still managed to come out on the other end shining. And so it's really all in how you want to look at this energy, and it's really all in how you want to take it all in. And, you know, I've really been building you guys up this last week with the daily readings that I've been doing, and telling you that the reason why I kept on pressing everybody, like, please talk to somebody if you feel like it's kind of the end of the world right now. Talk to somebody if you're having suicidal ideation, suicidal thoughts. That's also something that has been a very real life lesson for me, is to reach out, is to open up. Do not clamp down. Do not think that you're alone, because you're not. You're not alone. Even if you feel like you're alone, because there are strangers that are there for you. Even, you know, you're 100% not alone. Sometimes it's easier to talk to a stranger. So the reason why I've been pushing that a lot this last week is because of this energy today. I always have a rhyme and reason for everything. Everything I do. I'm a Virgo after all, right? And if you are in the business of taking things really, really personally, that's going to be a heavier emotion for you even now. So remember that this too shall pass. I've actually had several people email me and message on the videos and stuff like that. Why do we have to go through this energy? Why does life have to be so hard? Why is this? Why is that? And it doesn't actually have to be so hard. It really doesn't. It's all in how you act, react, you know, be proactive. It's all in how you decide to use this energy, because it's not pretend. I mean, if like literally everybody's feeling this right now, but some people are doing better than others. And the reason why some people are doing better than others is because, like, for example, I enjoy really super mutable energy. It's not comfortable. I'm not going to pretend that it's fun. When I say enjoy it, the reason why I enjoy it is because I know that change is inevitable. It's going to happen. And regardless of whether I try and stop it or not, it's still going to happen. I could fight against everything and just make myself miserable. But I also allow myself to rest. Like yesterday, I took some time out. And sometimes I feel really, really guilty about doing that. And I did. And this energy can tend to bring up the worst fears within you, or make you feel like if you already are down on yourself, this could literally make you feel even more down on yourself. It's all in how you're choosing to put yourself out there. So if you need to take a time out, take a time out. Don't wallow in it though. Don't wallow in your self-pity. Because the more negative you are to yourself right now, this energy is going to amplify that. And why? So everybody asks me, like, why does life have to be so hard? Why does this energy have to be so hard? First of all, it doesn't. Second of all, the reason why we have energies happening like this, so like last year was all about finding yourself. And if you're still feeling like you're really lost and you have no idea who you are, I kind of feel like you're lying to yourself a little bit. And I'm just going to be honest when I say this. It's not that you're lost. It's that you refuse to see the best qualities of yourself. You keep pushing yourself down. You keep pushing yourself back. Or every single time you have a one up, you step backwards because you're like, oh, no, I can't be that amazing. I can't push that far ahead. Right? So the more you allow yourself to see yourself in a better light and in a better existence, the easier this time can be. I'm not saying that it's going to be easy by any means, but the easier this time can be. So last year was all about finding yourself. This year, a lot of people wanted this year to be easier, energy-wise. the more you come into your truth, the more you can discern between what's reality and what's spiritual nature. The more you come back to your soul's personal truth and who you were meant to be on this planet, the more you're going to feel the changes and the shifts and the tides turning. This year is all about growing yourself. It's all about the aspect of, looking really deep within and being honest about where you're holding yourself back, being honest about who are you trying to live your most authentic life, or are you just letting yourself kind of float away like a feather in the wind, right? All of these changes and all of these shifts and the way that the planets are lining up right now it's like once in a lifetime opportunities for growth and possibility and change. And not to say that we're not going to have more possibilities down the road, but the more you allow yourself to take advantage of these winds of change that happen, of these planetary shifts that are happening, of these heavy energies that are purposefully working for us to grow, the more you allow yourself to see all of that, then you'll be able to understand. Then you'll be able to get into a mindset of where I am, where it's not necessarily going to be easy, but it's going to be totally worth it. It's going to be worth it because the shifting is real. The shifting is real. It's not, and you can see it happening. Again, I highly recommend watching the Leo King when he does his astrology updates, his deep astrology updates. And, all of these shifts that are happening have really big, epic movements in our life. But we have to be willing to bank on it. We have to be, I've said it before and I'll say it again. You are the best bet. Bet on yourself. That is the best bet you will ever make. The more you keep on betting on people that you can't trust, that don't respect you, that are holding you back and not allowing you to grow and not allowing you to move forward, including yourself. If you're not allowing yourself to grow and you're not allowing yourself to move forward, that's a problem. If you are in the same place that you were in last year, at this time last year, it's really going to be super heavy and hard on you because we are in constant motion. And this is an evolutionary process. This is not something that'll happen overnight, but at the same time, we are constantly in motion and movement and moving forward. And you fighting against that, that's why we go to that's what the dark night of the soul is. It's that you have been fighting against the change, and now your soul is finally saying, I can't fight anymore. If you're going to keep on fighting against everything that I'm trying to teach you or everything that I'm trying to show you, the only way for me to get to you is if we pull everything away, if we remove everything from your life. God is not in the business of wanting you to be miserable. And the only way that you aren't going to be miserable is if you get out of your own way. There was something that I put up on Instagram yesterday. If you're not following me on Instagram, it's Fearless Intuition 1111. I put up on Instagram yesterday, the hardest truth you will ever tell yourself is I deserve it all. Because we were all born with a divine birthright to be happy and abundant. The only person that's in our way is ourselves. And the reason why we are in our own way is because of all the lies and programming that we've had from the time that we were born. Because before we took that first breath, we had a divine birthright given to us to be happy and abundant. And society comes in and says, no, you don't get to be happy and abundant because that means that everybody else doesn't get their way, right? So we believe certain things about ourselves that we're not good enough, that we're not strong enough, because society tells us you know, no, you're not good enough for this job, or you're not good enough for this, or you're not good enough for that. You don't get to have a relationship because of this, because of that. And so you get placed into a box and you say, if you act this way, if you are this way, then that means you can have whatever you want. But are you really happy? Because are you living for yourself, or are you living for that box? Are you living for everybody else? Kind of like keeping up with the Joneses. So the energy right now is not easy, but it's worth it, because on the backside of this energy is growth and opportunity and truth. And that's what I want you to see. I don't want you to see the negative aspects of this. And if you have to take a time out today, if you have to take a time out tomorrow, if you have to allow yourself to kind of process where you are in life right now. And when I mean time out, you can take a time out from people too. Like, I don't know, if you have a family, look at your family and be like, I can't today. I need a break. I need 5, 10, 15, 30 minutes to myself. But when you're sitting there with yourself, don't beat yourself up. Don't tell yourself all those lies. Don't say, you know, I'm not good enough because of this, 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 and this. Because the more you're saying that to yourself, the more amplified it will be. In saying that, let's look at the cards and see where we are. Let's see where we are today. I will be putting up a new twin flame reading on Patreon. If you are not a part of Patreon, you get all of the extendeds for the love readings and all of the exclusive twin flame readings that I do every week on Patreon. Also, my one-on-one alignment coaching, which a lot of people have asked me, like, what is that? The alignment coaching that I'm doing is helping everybody to grow in the best possible way. It is it's learning how to master yourself. Because when you master yourself, when you are in alignment with yourself, it's easier to manifest relationships. It's easier to manifest jobs. It's easier to find out what your soul purpose is. Now, here's the thing. It's not a tarot reading. The reason why it's not a tarot reading is because I feel like the only way for you to know what your future is, or the only way for you to see what's coming up in the future in the best possible way, is if you are in alignment. Because an alignment doesn't mean that everything is perfect. Alignment doesn't mean that everything is exactly the way that you want it to be right now. Alignment means that you acknowledge and accept the place that you're in right now and allow growth. You're allowing growth from that place, because you can't align to a future if you don't align to your present. So that's the alignment coaching is 20% off right now. The 1 hour tarot readings are also 20% off. Check that out. And I have restocked the 1 question readings as well. I was doing the 1 question readings in like a live format, but I've kind of found that people like the videos because they can watch it over and over again, and it's, you know, more personal. They can ask more personal questions. So check that out. It's only $30 for 1 question, to ask 1 question. All right, guys. I'm trying to think what else. Gemini birthday special. If you are a Gemini sun sign, please take advantage of your birthday special before it has expired. It will be expired when Cancer season starts. So June 21st will be the last day. I had to think about that for a second. Is that right? I'm like, is that when? It's so funny when you've been like saying it for so long. Yes. Actually it'll be June 20th will be the last day for the Gemini special. And then, yeah. Okay, lots of major arcanas are coming out right now. I feel like some people are feeling really stuck and really alone. And it's kind of going along with what I said, with what's going on with the energy. So we have the Lovers, we have the Hanged Man, the Nine of Pentacles, the Death card, Page of Wands, and the King of Cups. So the Lovers represents Gemini. The sun is in Gemini, and which is funny because we also have the Hanged Man, which represents Pisces, and Neptune is in Pisces. And these are 2 out of the 4 mutable signs that make the cross, right? The transformation that's happening right now is so big and so real that you're going to recognize who you want in your life, who you don't want in your life, and not even wanting, that's not even the right word, who should be allowed to be in your life and who needs to kind of fall by the wayside. And that can be really lonely. That can be really, really lonely. Now, this energy could also make you feel like you're alone even though you have a group of people. And you also have to remember that you're not the only one that's going through this energy. So if you have a group of people and they're projecting something on you, or they're making you feel like you're really alone right now, I feel like part of that is an ego thing. Because it's not that they're trying to make you feel alone, it's that they're having to process all this heaviness as well. It's not just you involved here in this energy. And this energy can play those ego mind games on you. This energy will play into your fears. This energy will play into all of the things that you don't want to see, the shadow aspects of life. This energy can really, it's kind of an illusion. It can tell you more lies than not. So I feel like what the cards are saying here is the Page of Wands makes me feel like there needs to be some talking happening. There needs to be an open dialogue that's going on. And maybe not right now, but in the future, or like in a day or two, or whatever, after you've really processed your own emotions, because this is a really emotional spread to me. And the reason why is I feel like the decisions that need to be made in relationships that are really, really close, and it could have to do with the twin flame relationship, it could have to do with the Gemini, it could have to do with just making decisions, because the Lovers represents all 3. People feel stuck today. And remember that time isn't linear, energy is fluid. If this is not the energy that you're feeling today, but you're feeling it later on this week, or you felt it last week or whatever, just because there's a date on this reading, it doesn't necessarily mean that today is the day that you're going to feel this. But I do feel like there's some type of relationship or close energy between people that like you feel kind of stuck in, or you feel like, I don't really know what direction to move in. The Hanged Man tells you, even though you're feeling stuck, it's time for you to look at things in a different way. Even though this Nine of Pentacles, you feel like you're going to have to be abundant on your own, like you don't have anybody, this girl here in this card, I love this deck, by the way, the Spellcaster's Tarot. This girl is like, the only friend she has right now is a squirrel. And then we have the Death card. You could also be dealing with a Scorpio energy, or a water sign, could even be a Pisces. But I feel like with this Page of Wands, there needs to be an active dialogue happening. That doesn't mean it's a one-way conversation. But that also means you need to be able to open up when you feel ready to. You know, don't feel like you have to. Don't feel like, okay. And this has to do with union or reunion. Now, the Three of Cups, I know a lot of readers will automatically go to the Three of Cups being a third party situation, and it could very well be in some cases. But the Three of Cups for me is union. It's about soul union. It's like you and me coming together and making a third energy, which is source. Could be that you are dealing with the twin flame energy, and this energy right now is catapulting a lot of people into unions. And that doesn't mean that the union's going to come this week. That means that this particular energy that's happening right now is helping the twins grow, the twin flames grow in such ways. And I don't mean to make this into a twin flame reading. This could be about soulmates. It could be about any relationship. But mainly it's about you, because a lot of times the union that you need to have is within yourself. But this energy is showing you where you're holding yourself back. This, like the fears that get caught up in your mind. That's what holds you back, because fear is an illusion. But we get paralyzed. Thank you very much, Hanged Man. We get paralyzed when we're afraid. Some people, fear is a motivator. But for some people, it's a paralyzer. So I think that because there are a lot of things that people are afraid of doing on their own, they're afraid to be on their own or be alone. And how do you really find yourself when you're alone and you get quiet? Nobody else is going to be able to tell you who you are. You can get a reading from a tarot reader like me and ask, what's my soul purpose, or who am I? But in reality, the only person that can tell you who you are is you. And the only way that you can find that out is if you get quiet. And the Hanged Man is telling you to pause. And sometimes we need that pause. Sometimes we need to ask ourselves the hard questions during the silence. So we have the Queen of Wands with the Hanged Man. The Queen of Wands represents the divine feminine. The Queen of Wands is someone who's extremely confident in where she's going. She can do it on her own. And she doesn't really let other people get in her way. But here's the thing, is she can also be sort of mean sometimes. And it's not that she tries to be mean on purpose. She just knows what she wants. And she goes for it. And the people that get in her way, she's like, I can't have people getting in my way. So the divine feminine is on pause right now. And I think that the divine feminine is needing to be on her own in order to grow. The divine feminine is, and you don't have to be a fire sign to be the divine feminine. The Queen of Wands is just a representation. Since this is such a broad general reading, it's not for any particular sign. Why does the divine feminine have to be on her own? I love that these two cards came out. On the Nine of Pentacles, finding her abundance, right? The Nine of Pentacles represents getting your own abundance all on your own. Why does she have to be on her own? The Ace of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles. Because the universe has gifts to give her. One of those gifts is self-respect, self-love. The other gift is stability. And the only way to come into union with somebody that you truly, truly love, somebody that you have that connection with, the only way to come into union is to have self-love and stability in your life, and know that you're in union with yourself. And that's what my alignment courses, my one-on-one alignment courses, that's what we teach, is coming, basically, when I say coming into union with yourself, I mean self-alignment. allowing yourself to accept and acknowledge where you are right now, because you know you have more that the universe wants to give to you. Now, here's the thing, is sometimes we have to be placed on pause, and not everybody enjoys being on pause. I don't like being on pause. I don't like being told to wait. But sometimes that hanged man perspective is only your, like, you only think you're on pause. You know, you only think you're on pause. Let's see what this death card. Yeah. And this transition has to happen because, like I said, there's manifestation just around the corner. There are things that are coming into fruition. There are seeds that have already been planted. There are thoughts and ideas that are like coming out of the woodwork over and over and over again. But the death card is saying that this transition, this transformation of the divine feminine and the divine masculine, both are clearly needed in order to grow. And I don't want you to kid yourselves into thinking that you need somebody else in your life, like another 3D version in your life, to be happy. I'm not saying that relationships are a bad thing. It's wonderful to be with somebody who you love and who loves you back in the same way. But if you're with somebody who does not respect your boundaries, who does not respect who you are, who does not encourage your growth, somebody who will not tell you the truth or will not talk to you, thank you very much, Page of Wands, somebody who will not have a dialogue with you out of fear that they'll lose you, or you won't have a dialogue with them out of fear that you're going to lose them. If somebody else is not changing and you're in a relationship with them and you are on the path to change and you are on the path to transition and you are seeing ways that you really, really want to grow in your life, and that person is staying still and staying stuck, that's why this happens. That's why things are taken out of your life. It's like the same thing that I said it in a couple of June readings that I did. But, you know, when you are praying, whoever you pray to, Buddha, God, Jesus, the universe, source, that whatever energy, whatever that higher power energy is that you pray to, and you say, I just want to be happy. I just want to be happy. And the universe or God or whoever it is that says, yes, finally, you want to be happy. Let's make this happen. Let's make you happy. And they wipe everything out of your life. Take everything out of your life. Jobs, friends, lovers, family, your home. Why did I name all those things? Because that's what happened to me. I just wanted to be happy, so everything was ripped out of my life. Everything. And you say, but that's not what I meant. I didn't want everything taken from me. And then God says back, or the universe says back, but none of it was making you happy. And that's all you asked. All you said is that you wanted to be happy. You didn't say how. You didn't say what you wanted to be happy. You just said you wanted to be happy. And everything that you had in your life was making you miserable. All the way down to where you were living. And the reason why that happens is so it can open you up to a greater possibility, to having more abundance in your life, to growing from the ground up, right? So when things are taken out of your life, it's not to make you miserable. It's not because the universe is trying to smite you. It's not because, you know, life just is supposed to be hard. I mean, nobody said life was easy, but that's not why things are taken away from you. Things are taken away from you because of transition, because it's time for you to receive the actual gifts that you deserve. Let's see what this Page of Wands is. Yeah. This I really like. So what is it that we're manifesting? And I feel like this needs to be a conversation between, like, somebody needs to have a conversation, or you just need to open yourself up and really listen to what the universe is trying to tell you. Because this Page of Wands is a messenger, but it can also be, it's really time for you to get quiet so you can hear what the universe is trying to tell you. In order for you to be happy and healthy and have clarity and really open your, and like make things make sense in your life, you're going to have to take some risks. And some of those risks are not going to be padded at the bottom. You know, like, you have no idea with this Fool, what is he really jumping into down here? Is there a safety net? Some of them don't have safety net. Some of them you just have to kind of take that risk and allow yourself to, all right, well, I'm just going to have to trust and have faith. Now is the time to trust and have faith. And if this, I feel like there's a divine masculine energy here as well. It's showing up as the King of Cups. Now remember, divine masculine, divine feminine does not have to be male or female, right? A lot of women hold the divine masculine energy more than they do the divine feminine energy, and vice versa. Also, you can go back and forth, especially if you have really balanced out the energies within yourself. You could have the divine masculine energy heavier one day and the divine feminine energy heavier the next day. You, have to discern that for yourself. Divine masculine energy is more logical. It's more grounded. Here, it's showing that it's a little bit emotional. Strong emotions in the divine masculine today. But, and the divine feminine energy is more intuitive, really, really listens to how she feels, not so much how she thinks. If you're really up in your mind right now, and you're trying to figure out how to ground yourself in the 3D, the divine masculine energy, is probably a little bit stronger within you. Sometimes the divine masculine energy can hold the ego, though. And I feel, not sometimes, all the time. But I do feel like, and the divine feminine energy holds the ego as well. But the divine masculine energy, I feel like, is trying to, that ego part is trying to tear down. And that's why he's coming out as a, as like the water sign. Or coming out as the King of Cups, because he's trying to allow his emotions to flow a little bit more. He's trying to open up a little bit. I feel like it's going to be kind of, in order for you to get what you want, somebody needs to have a conversation, or somebody needs to listen a little bit more, listen a little harder, to maybe what the divine masculine has to say right now. Because I feel like what he has to say is very, very open to emotional, yeah. The divine masculine is really holding on to some pain. Really, really stuck in beating himself up. And it's because of worldly things. It's because of what he's actually seeing, and not what, like, he needs. I feel like the reason why he came out as the King of Cups is because he's getting very emotional about the material side of life, right? Because the Four of Pentacles is holding on to things so tightly in a material kind of way that you're not allowing the universe to work in your life. And the Three of Swords, and I feel like a lot of this has to do with the past as well, because swords are thoughts, swords are communication. That first initial heartbreak that we have with the Three of Swords is really painful, but that heals quick. The thing that keeps coming back is the memory of everything, the memory of all things. So he's holding on to past pain, the divine masculine energy, and it's making him emotional. I feel like the only way to remove himself from this is, again, to recognize that no matter how hard the energy is right now, it's probably not as difficult as it feels, right? It's like the difficulty factor is an illusion. If you're feeling it at a 10, it's really only at a 5. But your mind is feeding into it. Your ego is feeding into it. The divine masculine emotional side of things is really feeding into holding on to pain. And so both the divine masculine and the divine feminine are stuck, perceived to be stuck right now. And I feel like they both feel very much alone. I feel like the only way for them to open up, both sides, divine masculine and the divine feminine, the only way for them to open up right now is to allow themselves to see the beauty, because the sun is the happiest card in the deck. Doesn't have to be so hard. But it's going to be risky. It's going to feel risky. It might not even be that risky, but it's going to feel really, really risky. You're going to have to take chances in life. Okay? All right, my friends. That was a deep reading. I know that this probably, I didn't even check to see how long this was, like the time frame, how long it was. So thanks for hanging in there with me if you made it all the way to the end. I love you all. Remember, also I did want to let you guys know that the extended 2019 forecasts, you can find those on my website. I'm actually removing Vimeo from everything. So if you want to get any of the 2019 extendeds, go to my website, go to Patreon. If you want to get any of the May to mid-June love readings, go to my website, go to Patreon. Also, what else? I think that's it. Yeah, take advantage of all of the sales that are going on right now. And there are going to be some really big announcements coming up this week in the next couple of days. One of them is going to be a jewelry announcement that will be released. Very limited amount of jewelry announcement that will be released. And the events that I'll be doing will also be released this week. I love you guys. Please take care of yourselves. Bye.